A man starts walking north at 4 feet per second from a point P. 5 minutes later, a woman starts walking south at 5 feet per second from a point 500 feet due east of P. At what rate are the people moving apart 15 minutes after the woman starts walking?
Okay, so first, the man at point P travels north at 4 feet per second. 500 feet east of the man is a woman, and she travels south
No way.
at 5 feet per second. 5 minutes after the man starts walking. They travel for a distance of 15 minutes after the woman starts to walk, so the man travels a total of 20 minutes, and the woman travels 15 minutes. Okay, that's it. In order to make this problem simpler, we're just going to make one big triangle.
No way.
This point here, point P, is where the man starts. 500 feet is in the middle, so the base is 500. That separates the man and the woman. The hypotenuse, we still don't know yet. Y on the side would be the total distance the man walked plus the total distance the woman walked.
So what would that be, Mikey?
That, George, would be 9,300 feet.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
How do you find that, do you ask?
I don't know, how do you?
Okay, so the man traveled a total of 1,200 seconds, which is approximately 20 minutes
20 minutes?
at 4 feet per second.
You math whiz.
So in total, the man walked
How far?
4,800 feet total, man. And the woman, you say, right?
Well, man.
She walked a total of 900 seconds. At what speed, George?
I don't know what speed, Mikey.
5 feet per second.
Oh my gosh.
Can you find that total for me? You know that? Because if you don't, I'll help you out.
Help me out,
It's
bud.
approximately 4,500 seconds. Add those two up, you get yourself a big 9,300 seconds.
Look how that happens.
Crazy. Calculus. Yeah, that just happened.
Okay, next part, we want to do the Pythagorean Theorem. So you're going to do x squared plus y squared is equal to s squared. Now what are the variables? We know that x is 500, so x squared would be 500 squared plus plus y squared is equal to s squared. Now we want to find the derivative. You hear me? So you want to do ds over dt is equal to 2s ds dt, which is equal to 2y dy dt. Now, when you solve this out, you get s ds dt is equal to y dy dt is equal to ds over dt, which is equal to y dy over dt over s.
Okay, so for those of you who need a little deeper of an explanation,
Why? I thought it was fun.
just a little deeper. Okay, so the derivative of s, s1, or ds over dt, is equal to the derivative of y over s. This is an s, not a 5. Even though it may be mistaken because my partner's handwriting is very sloppy.
I'll deal with
So,
you later.
how are you going to find s?
I don't
So
know.
what you say, you have the Pythagorean Theorem, correct?
Correct.
S squared equals x squared plus y squared.
Yeah, sounds good to
Okay.
me.
So now, start to plug in the variables. S squared equals 500 squared plus 9,300 squared.
Where'd you get those numbers from?
Well, y, what we found earlier, 9,300, and x, 500, you just plug them in. And now to get s by itself, take the square root of both sides. So s equals square root of 500 squared plus 9,300 squared.
And who taught you this wonderful calculus?
The wonderful Nicolette Hommer taught me this. Next, in order to solve this equation, we need to find the derivative of y.
Yeah, you do.
So to find that, y is going to equal the total number of seconds that were walked.
Why?
Because that's how long they were walking. 1,200 seconds plus the total speed that was being walked. Since the man was walking at 4 feet per second north, 4 plus the woman's speed, 5 feet
Let me
per
get
second.
this one. Would it be 9?
Yes, it would, George. Good math. Because 4 plus 5 equals 9.
9.
And since
9,
that's
9.
the variable you want to find, you're going to put a t next to it. 9t. To find the derivative,
Fine.
dy over dt, you'd have to take the derivative of this equation, which ends up equaling 9.
The ends of a water trough, 8 feet long, are equilateral triangle whose sides are 2 feet long. If water is being pumped into the trough at a rate of 5 feet cubed per minute, find the rate at which the water level is rising when the depth of water is 8 inches. The second problem.
Okay, so in order to solve this problem, we need to use the volume formula for a water trough, which is also known as a triangular prism. That's equal to 1/2 base times height because of the triangle. But since it's a prism, you have to add in the L too.
I like.
So let's plug in some givens.
Plug them in.
V equals 1/2 times base, which we don't have yet, times height,
Times height.
times 8.
Times
The
8.
length, 8 feet, goes in. Next, we're going to have to find our B or our H. So in order to find the H, we're going to set up a triangle using the front little triangle. So this, being an equilateral triangle, makes this angle 60 degrees. To solve, it's the this side equals 2 because it's an equilateral triangle, each side equals 2. So we're going to use sine, which equals opposite over hypotenuse. So in order to solve for x, we need to use a sine equation. So sine of 60 equals h over 2. We need to get the h alone. So we're just going to multiply this 2 over, cancel them out over here, and the new equation is h equals 2 sine 60.
That's
Now,
a good sign.
In order to solve that, you're going to need a calculator. But since I'm actually a genius, I'll just use my head. H is going to equal root 3.
Wow, what a wizard.
So now, to solve, we're going to put B over H. Since B is equal to 2, and H is equal to root 3, we're going to solve for B. We're going to multiply the H, cancel it out. B equals 2H over root 3. I know it's an irrational problem, but we're going to keep it like that for now.
You were diamond?
So now that we have B, we're going to plug it back into our main equation. V equals 1/2. Now we're going to plug in for B. 2 over root 3 H times H times 8. Now we can simplify a little bit. 8 times 1/2 is going to equal to 4 times 2 over root 3. And we're going to multiply these h's together to get h squared, a little more. We're going to multiply this 4 by this 2. So v is going to equal 8 over root 3 h squared. Now we're going to need to find the derivative of this whole equation, dv over dt. That's going to equal 16 root 3 h. And if you rationalize that, that'll be 16 root 3 over 3 times h. And you're going to need to add in that dh over dt in order to make sure that you find the derivative.
Delicioso.
Now, we're going to need to plug in. Since we have dv over dt, which was given to us earlier in the problem,
Yeah.
5 feet per second, which is how fast the water is rising,
Yeah.
we'll plug that in. So
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Then 16 root 3 over 3
Yeah.
times h.
Yeah.
So the height that we were given earlier in the problem, that the water needs to rise to 8 inches,
Yeah.
since we have 5 feet here, we can't use inches.
Yeah.
So we're going to convert that into inches.
Yeah.
8 over 12 simplifies down to 2 over 3.
Yeah.
Then times dh dt.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we just have to simplify this part. 16 root 3 over 3 times 2/3 is going to equal 32 root 3 over 9 dh dt. Now we have to get the dh dt by itself. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. 9 over 32 root 3 on both sides. Cancel those out, and you got your answer. dh over dt is equal to 15 root 3 over 32, or about 0.812 feet per minute.
Hey, turn that paper towards me 1 sec. Looks good to me.